Peace and blessings everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I have the Citroën DS3 Special Edition. This is the 1955 edition of the DS3 and I have to tell you that it's quite an interesting car. It comes with a couple of interesting features and this one in particular has this violet color which apparently I like very much. So in this episode we're gonna talk about this little car, about the quirks that this one has, and by the end of the video we're gonna decide if it's a good car to buy against the competition, the Mini Cooper and the Fiat 500. From the start I have to tell you that, well, it goes against the competition very well. See you in a bit. The car that I have here today, I got it from my friends at Carzet. Carzet are a specialized second-hand car dealership located in Ipswich. All the cars have 6 months RSE warranty, which is extendable up to 3 years. If you want your car to be part exchange, they can provide that. If you have a low credit score and you need finance, Carzet can help you with finance as well. And if you want your car to be delivered all the way across UK, well, you guessed it, Carzet can help you with that as well. So check them out at carzet.co.uk for any inquiries. Let's talk about the front end of the car, and I want to start with the headlights because they seem out of this world. Honestly, they seem like they come out of an alien movie and they are quite interesting. Right here we have the LED daytime running lights, and of course the headlights are LED as well. One thing that I like is the Citroen grille, which is a single frame grille with the Citroen badge in the middle. The DS badge sits proudly on the front bumper because this is the front bumper, all of it. Right here we have this honeycomb pattern where the intake is, so this car can absorb as much air as it wants to because it's a sports little car and it needs a lot of air to breathe. The front end also has these fog lights which they are covered in this chrome finish. Now there are a lot of chrome elements that this car has, including on the side and on the rear end, but I have to tell you that this chrome finish that this car has gives it an elegant look. So in the front end, you immediately notice the headlights, you notice the big grille, the daytime running lights, and I have to tell you, it's quite a little aggressive car. Let's talk about the engine on this car. This car has a 1.2 petrol engine which develops 109 horsepower, 210 Newton meters, goes from 0 to 60 in a couple of seconds, and thanks to its 5-speed manual gearbox, manages to do around 60 miles per gallon, which I have to tell you, these are quite impressive numbers. But to be fair, this is a small car, it's a small engine, and well, the fuel consumption shouldn't be high. But also, this is a very nippy car. I have to tell you that it goes quite well, it's fast enough, and it's providing a lot of fun to the driver and, well, as well to the front passenger, because the rear passengers, there's not too much room over there. But for the front passengers, this little engine, well, I think it will put a smile on their faces. The side of the car is interesting as well because it has some little signature things that makes this one a special model. For example, on the mirrors you have a very interesting pattern, and you can observe this pattern even on the headlights on the interior. Now this car sits on 17-inch wheels, and well, as you may see, they look quite good in this two-tone paint, and gives the car a sporty stance. Also, the lines of the car also gives it a sporty stance as well. One thing that I like on this side is how this window over here is integrated into the side of the car. I have to tell you that from here to here, there's only a big glass panel, which looks quite good. The chrome elements, as I mentioned, continues on the side of the car and on the door handle, giving the car an elegant look. One thing that I noticed, and I find it quite interesting, is where they placed the turn signal on the side of the car, of course, but they placed it right over here. Right over here we have the DS1955 badge to remind you that you are driving a special car. Also, all the DS badges have now this goldish look. Now it's time to talk about the rear end of the DS3, because I think it looks quite good. Here we have the taillights, which of course they are LED and they do have a nice looking pattern when they are turned on. Inside the taillights you have the DS badge, which I think looks quite cool. Down here we have a rear diffuser to emphasize the sportiness that this car has as well. And here we have the rear muffler, which doesn't sound loud, but with the diffuser all combined together with that little small spoiler over there, gives the car a sporty stance. Right here we have the parking sensors, here we have the DS3 badge, and here, we have a sticker. Now, this being a special edition, they should have put a badge like this one, but instead they decided that they should stick a sticker over there. Don't get me wrong, it's cool, but I think they could have done better in that area. So in the rear end of the Citroën DS3 we have this little small flimsy rear wiper. As I mentioned, the roof spoiler, which honestly it's not big. It's kind of integrated into the boot lid, but I think it looks cool. They could have done a little bit better in this area, providing a bigger rear spoiler to emphasize the sportiness of the car even further, but they didn't, so they left this over here. So overall, the rear end of the car actually stands out pretty well against the competition. I have to tell you that it looks a little bit better than the Fiat 500, and I think it's right over there with the Mini Cooper. Let's check out the cargo space that the DS3 offers, and I have to tell you that the boot compartment, it's bigger than the competition. Way much bigger, because this one has 285 liters just in the trunk, in the boot, in the trunk, in the boot, in the trunk, in the boot. But if you drop the back seats, you get 980 liters of cargo space, which is, I have to tell you, it's quite impressive. So this one goes against the competition quite well in this area. So if you're thinking of buying one of these little small cars and you have need for a lot of cargo compartment, this is the one to get. And stepping inside the DS3, I have to tell you that it's quite an impression being here. I love these sport seats, and even if when I'm filming you can hear something squeaking. This armrest is very annoying, but you can get rid of it by putting it here. Now, the first feeling that you have when you enter this car is like being in a futuristic world. And what do I mean by this? Let's start with the dashboard. The dashboard is sculpted very interesting. It has also a pattern over here, a kind of material that looks out of this world as well. You have a hi-fi sound system, which sounds quite interesting, as well as the climate controls. They are very different than any other car in its class. Now, I like these aluminum that this car has on the inside, and especially on the handbrake, on the side of the gear shifter, and on the steering wheel, giving the car a very sporty feel as well. But let's get back to the seats, because these are the piece of resistance of this car. I have to tell you that they hug you in the right places. These are very comfortable sport seats, and they are not electrically powered, they are not even heated, but it doesn't matter because they are very comfortable. Now also, I like this brownish color with this bluish stitching and with this squarish pattern, and it has also the Citroen, well, not the Citroen, but the DS badge right over here on them, and they look quite good. This plastic over here looks quite elegant. It has the piano black finish and gives the car a luxurious feel. The air vents are very interesting as well. They have this interesting pattern, and to be honest with you, I never seen this in any car like in this one. Also, this car has frequency, so it has here a little thing that if you press it, it comes out. And one second. Oh yeah. Here you have frequency from DS, and it's quite an interesting thing. I've seen this in more expensive cars, but never in a budget car, because this car, when it was new, costed around, well, 20,000 pounds and something. So, well, this is an interesting feature. Now, the steering wheel, it's very, very sporty. It has a sporty feel due to this aluminum trim and this perforated leather as well. And, well, it doesn't have any buttons on it because the control for the radio and for the cruise control are right here on the side of the steering column, which I find it interesting. It's not my thing to have the controls over here because, well, I'm not used to that, but I have to tell you that they are here and, well, they are useful. The gauge cluster is very interesting as well. It has a nice pattern. It has a screen. Now, the screen is not adjustable. You have just a couple of information over there, but looks very dynamic and very eye-catching as well. Now it's time to talk about the infotainment screen, and this is a touch screen, and as you can see, it looks quite good and modern. Okay, this car has a Bluetooth connectivity, doesn't have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, but, well, it has Bluetooth. Now let's go a little bit into the menu. Now this is something interesting. If you want to go into the menu, you have to press this button over here. If you press this button over here, the car will automatically call to the DS service department. Don't try this, I've tried it, and, well, trust my word on that. Here we have the volumes for the radio, and yes, they are very annoying because I was looking for a knob to fix the volume of the car, but these are the buttons to control the radio volume or the sound system volume. Right here we have the SOS button that automatically calls if you're involved in a crash, and right here we have two blank buttons. Let's move up to the climate controls, and the climate controls, as you can see, are quite interesting. You have three buttons over here, a screen over here, and another three buttons here. So these are the climate controls of the Citroën DS3. Moving back to the infotainment system, let's check out what this car has. It has navigation, radio, media, and it has DAB radio as well. Also, let's go into the settings of it. And we have audio settings. If we go into the options, we have screen settings, and you can adjust the text scrolling and active animation, and of course the brightness of the screen. You have a calculator, a calendar, and well, some system settings when you can actually choose from the fuel consumption units that you want to have displayed on this screen. Going back again into the main menu, we have driving, and here you can actually see that this car did 41.4 miles per gallon in the past 6,214 miles, which isn't bad. So overall, the Citroën DS3, it's quite an interesting little car that offers, well, a bit of everything. So it's now time to drive the DS3, because, well, it's quite an interesting little car. So, of course, this being a manual, it's quite nippy and agile and, well, fun to drive. Now, I have to tell you right from the start that the rear seats aren't very accessible for a person that is taller than 5.10, 5.11. So if you're taller than that, well, you will have a problem getting into the back seats. I've tried to get into the back seats and it wasn't fun. That's why I didn't film it. But regarding everything else, I have to tell you that this little car is quite good and quite interesting from these points of view. For example, the steering, it's very good. The handling, it's quite good. The car behaves very nicely on countryside roads and feels very sporty. Now regarding comfort, well, due to the fact that it's a small car and well, the wheelbase of this one is quite short, you can actually feel almost anything in it. So it's not that comfortable on the road. Even having these 17-inch wheels makes the ride even rougher. So regarding this area, I have to tell you that I'm not impressed by the comfort. Regarding quality of the materials, this is something that I like. The DS3 has a hi-fi sound system which sounds quite good. The leather is brilliant, the seats are brilliant, and you have leather even on the door side as well. Now, a few bad spots are, as I mentioned, how you get into the back seats, because it's quite uncomfortable. The ride quality is harsh, and this is something that I don't like. The fuel consumption is good. DS says that this car does around 60 miles per gallon, which it doesn't, but I did around 42-45 miles per gallon around town, and those are good numbers, honestly. Those are quite good numbers. Now, regarding practicality, it's a small town car, so if you plan on going with it with 4 of your friends and travel long distances, I don't think it's gonna be that comfortable. Against the competition, I have to tell you that this car goes very well. The quality of the materials feels much better than the competitors, and the way this car was assembled seems more better than its rivals. Even though this is a small car, it doesn't feel that small on the inside, due to the fact that the windscreen is placed way above into the front of the car, and the dashboard seems like you're in a very big car. This actually, it's a small car, and sometimes you do forget that you're in a town car traveling around countryside roads or traveling around town, and the car feels much bigger than it is. How this car takes corners, it's very nice. I mean, you have a lot of fun with this 1.2 petrol engine with those 109 horsepower. They do the job, providing a very nice driving experience, and it puts a smile on your face, even though it's a small car, even though it's a Citroen. But I have to tell you that it's quite a fun car to drive. So, in conclusion, if you want a small car, a small town car, and you have to choose between this one and its competitors, well, I think you should look better at this DS3, because it might appeal to you, and you will feel sorry if you don't consider this one of the cars that you would like to buy, again, if you are in the market for a small town car. So yes, that was it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Press a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Well, in the meantime, all the best to you guys. Peace and blessings to all of you, and I'll see you in the next episodes. All the best.